thing I was working on making happen. So there's only so much time in a day, and I want a little more flexibility. And that was one thing where I was like, oh, there are there are three gals and four uh white guys. There's only so much time in a day, and there we
What's
go.
that?
I was I was live on YouTube.
All right.
Um, oh, thanks. Try it again. Okay. That's why I started to double over with my voice. Yeah. So the is this all foggy? Does that help? I don't know. Anyway, I guess it's just foggy. It's what it is. Um, yeah. So that was it wasn't an easy choice because I like the 1 Million Cups group and meeting with them beforehand and then leading the other stuff. But so often I was getting client or people to come in there and see them, but I wasn't really working on like how to get people to come to me. And uh, so the amount of time as effort I was putting into that, I think was good. I learned a lot, and I'm glad I gave back to the community a bit. But at this point, I'm recognizing that in order to keep doing something like that, I need to make sure I'm taking care of my own business. And so that was a way for me to like, okay, I can let go of this for a bit, and if I want to come back, I can come back.
Hmm. So how did you refocus on trying to increase your business?
Um, well, one easy thing is that when I contact people, I won't be asking them, "Oh, are you a new business? Would you like to prepare on 1 million cups?" So it takes one segment of my common conversation out of the conversation, and then trying to follow up with them later and schedule all of that. Instead, I can just focus on scheduling when I'm working with clients and like I can invite him to 1 million cups and I can invite him to this and it won't take like if they come that's great and if they don't come then there's not like a whole layer of stuff that I am involved in outside of the time I'm actually showing up. So those
So
are
how do you do your work now that we're in a COVID world and we're mostly virtual?
well, are you talking about the organizing part or where how I get leads?
Well, yeah. How do you service your customers in a virtual? I can see it in the real world, but in a virtual world, it's
Yeah.
COVID different.
So that's virtual organizing is a real thing. I've only done a little bit of it myself. Um, in fact, I did one where it was reverse virtual organizing, where most people in the organizing world, when they talk about virtual organizing, they're talking about Phil, you're in your space there, and then we're talking about you organizing like your shelf or whatever it is in the background. Um, or there's even people that do it with like just taking photos and they send it like via text, and it's like, okay, and then they talk on the phone. And so, what do you think about this? What are we going to do here? And they have those sort of conversations. Um, but I've also done it in reverse where I'm in their location and they're somewhere else. And
Oh,
so
right.
yeah, so that there's a couple fancy ways to get it done. But most people have been pretty all right with me just coming in wearing a mask and we get things done and then I leave.
Okay.
Yeah. And as far as hand stuff, just wash your hands a lot.
So, do you use things like Nextdoor a lot, or
No, Nextdoor I found is mostly people talking about things in the neighborhood that are bothering them. And I could be good fodder, but uh I haven't thought about going back to check that out again recently. But mostly I use Home Advisor at this moment. and I'm wanting to change that. I'm wanting to change it so it's less about HomeAdvisor bringing in applicants or bringing in leads, and more about like my own efforts or things bringing in leads. You know what HomeAdvisor is?
Yeah, but you don't have to, you have to pay for that, don't you?
Yeah, but it's not. I mean, I guess it's 300 a year, but it's paid for itself in that case. Most of my new clients have been through that. Well, then there's been a few referrals from clients that I got through HomeAdvisor, and they've referred me to somebody else, and so I've started with those clients. But yeah, so the amount you pay for it has been worth it for
Oh,
me.
okay.
Yeah, at least
Okay.
at least this year. So, and Miriam also used to do HomeAdvisor up until last year, because she's now changing her focus, and HomeAdvisor really isn't like the big focus she wants. That said, she still keeps on getting leads from her good SEO, on her website and all that other stuff. So,
Hmm.
yeah, she's got a lot of
Yeah.
stuff going on there.
I haven't had any real success whatsoever with the with my website,
Oh
and
yeah.
and because my strategic focus is changing, in that I'm not so much looking at what you do once you've got data in terms of strategic planning, which is where I was before, to work into how you get the right data from the right places within and outside your organization, to be able to then construct a strategic plan is the focus that I want to continue with now. So I'm going to let my website kind of just fade out when it comes up for renewal. It will go,
Yeah.
and I'm going to have to refocus on how I do that. But what I want to also do is I want to have some kind of interactive app for my new approach, and
Yeah.
and have it work in conjunction with the book, so you can actually
That'd be cool.
you can actually read the book and you can actually apply the app at the same time, or you can just read the book and then you can apply the app in your business.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've done quite a bit of research on, well, I say quite a bit of research. I've done some research on SWOT apps, for example, and there are few, and the ones that are there are very, I would say, unhelpful for customers, and they're expecting to be paid for these apps, and I think they're very unhelpful for the customers that are going to be using them.
Huh. Well, that's a great thing for you.
Yeah.
That means that you've got a niche there you can jump in on.
Yeah. So we got Rob join us. Hi, Rob, who's eating his breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
you caught me in the middle of like 5 different things, between taking care of the kids, getting coffee, breakfast, and getting dressed, all that.
So
all sorts of exciting stuff.
We'll let Adam take you through how you intro yourself.
Oh yeah. So Rob knows some of this, but a little bit has changed. I just realized my lighting in here has changed up, and I could talk about that in a moment. But I should do my regular rigmarole. All right. So welcome. We're on live. The norms are engage in challenges, tend to whim. Connect your business with the topic. This is a good time to brag about stuff, or actually, work on your lingo and talking about things. It's all informal for me, but I use these slides to help me remember what the next thing I wanted to do was. How do you put this thing in present mode? This is LibreOffice, And I've done it before,
Ooh,
but I don't remember. And I'm sure there's like a quick way to do it.
it's like not at the
Slide,
bottom.
huh?
No, you're keep doing what you're doing. I think you're fine.
Yeah, that was one way, but I was like, that's a slow way, and I'm sure there's a faster way. Anyway, I saw it actually F5. So, bump, 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 bump. Okay. So, what we're gonna do is do my little intro here. We're gonna introduce ourselves. We're gonna have open discussion, basically on the topic, and then Action asks about 50 or about 10 minutes to the end, and it's gonna be about 10 seconds. Something we could do for 10 seconds that would help you on your quest. So, welcome to Adam's Friday Flow with Entrepreneurs. The challenge question this week was, where would you like for momentum in your business? Where would you like more momentum in your business? And I didn't get any answers, so I'm not going to show anything there. This is
Actually,
interesting
submitted
how
an answer, but that was just this morning, like as I was trying to log in. It
yeah,
was I
that's
was
right.
just trying to push through with one hand while I was eating and stuff, and I just typed in
Yeah, I'll make it happen.
Earth
That's
thing.
great.
That was mine.
We'll get what? Third thing?
Everything, earthing was what I typed. Sorry, continue. I interrupted.
You're fine. It's like I said, it's pretty lax for me. Anyway, publishable intros. So this is how I can tell who's going to go first, and if there's more people, it matters more. But just for practice sake, go ahead and publish your post your website on the chat, and any publishable intro that I would add to the YouTube. Put that in there. Make sure you put the http://www dot whatever, because if you don't, then it makes more work for me, and I will give you a hard time because you're learning Zoom etiquette. All right, so spoken intro. Adam is okay. So this is the new intro setup, Rob, that I've got. Instead of giving like your business name, well, anyway, so I want your name, the name of your business, and then how your business works is kind of a new thing. So like the systems of your business, and then what your business is about. So what is the question that you actually do with your business? It's funny because this quest thing, I was with a client the other day, and it's part of my process to get the question for whatever we're working on at the time. And he was a little he's like, I don't know about that quest thing, because I was asking for feedback. He says it sounds sort of new agey, kind of like your background. The and I'm like, well, it's not meant to be new agey. It's meant to be like levity. You know, it's like we're on a quest. We're doing to do something, and actually, we have a lot of we really are actually heading to trying to figure something out. Whether or not we recognize that's what we're doing, that's what it is. And so I changed it into a question, because then it also helps you think of it as an experiment. We're trying to figure things out in what we're doing. So what's the question you're trying to do with your business? Here's my website. I guess I'm going to switch share here, new share. That's what I want. That's weird. Okay, I guess I'll go with this. All right, there we are. So this is Adam's current website. In a month or two, this will be different. It keeps getting pushed back, the new thing. I'm working on a new logo. In fact, I can show you that in a bit, and we can discuss that one. I'm not even. I'm just. Yeah, it is good. I'm going to show you the current thing and see if I've got it on here. Here we are. Okay, so I'm working on all of this, and I was actually talking to Phil a little bit about this. Phil, is me trying to focus more on my own business. And so here is our Trello that we're using to get this done. And here's some information. The parrot this is based on is a real bird. And actually, it was a bird that was in New Mexico. So it's the one parrot that's native to the US. And then it's kind of migrated or back that way because of deforestation. Well, whatever. You could figure out reasons, but basically they are not up here anymore, except for on occasion they'll fly over the border still. So here's the logo work that we're doing. And let me see if I can pull these up. Okay, they're showing here. So these are the iterations, and this is the most recent with color. So anyway, there's some pretty cool stuff here. I want to see how much I can zoom in on this. So, what are your thoughts about these birds here?
Okay, so I guess the splash background of the bird kind of brings in the word spark into place. I didn't really think about it quite as much before. Well, I mean, you had the sparks coming off the tail end of the bird, but that was a little more subtle compared to the like explosion thing going on. So yeah, there's that. It's a little more relatable to spark flow, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay. Now, what about your gut reaction? That was a very intellectual one.
Oh, gut reaction. Well, just seeing it compared to the old one.
Yeah. Sure.
I mean,
which
like
of these
both.
do you prefer more?
Oh, of these two, I would say the top.
Yeah. Okay. Why do you like the top one more?
Well, you know what? If you could kind of make it halfway and put sparks, well, I don't know. Probably just because of the extra sparks, like the old ones you had on the wing there, the yellow ones, that makes it look a little more busy.
Yeah.
That's why I like the top one.
This one didn't have much preparation. There was actually, so here's the gray ones before I start adding color. And when I say I added color, I actually have an artist working on this for me. And she's doing it. And so in this setup, I think that sort of, well, what's your opinion about these two, this set?
Well, that's actually what I was going to say about the one up there with the color, is if you took the bottom version of those colored versions and moved the spark flow of the word up into the bird, that would probably be a good happy medium. But you done did it there, so that's awesome. I think of the two here, the top one might still be better just because the outline of the explosion in the background sort of washes out the darkness of the sparks flow. And if obviously you want somebody to just read your name of your company, that's going to make it pop more, as if the only thing black there is sparks flow.
Yeah,
that to me works.
So what are you thinking with you're saying in this one you would have done something with the,
just move the spark flow up either to where
one?
you had it, either to where you have it in the black and white, or just to where you have it there, like just underneath the tail kind of thing.
Yeah, the sparks is, I agree, there's a bit much going on. Phil, do you have any opinions about all this?
Yeah. I agree that with the sparks flow, positioning on both of them needs to be, whichever one you choose has got to be redone, because if you leave sparks flow on the top one where it is, you have a really wide logo.
I've heard that before. Yeah.
All right. And on the bottom one, I think you do need to come up a little bit so you integrate the sparks flow into the tail and the tip of the wing on the lower one.
So say that part again.
On this one, yeah. So you bring up the sparks flow from a little bit, so it's you're engaging the tail and the wing tip with your name. Yeah. I'll be brutally honest here. When I look at your spark, your spark doesn't remind me. Your spark doesn't remind me of a spark. It reminds me of It reminds me of a Looney Tunes splat.
Yes. Yeah. So on that same note,
because you got those little things there, all right, and you don't. It's not actually. That's not what I see when I see a spark. You know, like I see a sparkler. You know those.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's not a spark. That's a splat.
So there's a couple of things that go along that we're thinking about doing with that. Yeah, because I'm thinking about changing these sparks to come out of this a little more instead. Getting rid of these, because I've had the same feeling about these little extra bits from the beginning and just decided not to deal with it yet. But I think it's gotten to the point I'm going, all right, we're going to get rid of these extra bits. And then instead, like, yeah, having the sparks come out of this. And also this red line out here, it's too much like, because when I saw these, I agreed with you, is that this thin line thing is just not doing it for me. And then but I did choose these colors. I said, well, let's try black, red, yellow, and red like this. And that was because when I first thought of having this bang behind it, that's kind of the image colors that I kept coming in my mind. And I'm like, I don't think that's the best, but I want to try it because then you know, right? So that's good feedback. That's it is too busy, and yeah, making this actually seem more like sparks. And I'm thinking about also changing this black to transparent.
Yeah,
so
because
like
when you look at a sparkler, I mean, the center is so powerfully white or red or a combination. So it's bright, extremely bright, and then the sparkle it dissipates as it goes out. Yeah. So the black makes it look for me like a splat, as opposed to, you know, if somebody threw something and it's gone.
Yeah. See that now,
yeah, that's funny. All right, so well, thanks for the feedback. It's one of those things that Miriam, I actually talked to Miriam about this, and she was like, "Why are you spending time on a logo right now?"
Well, because what is the important part of that question? Why are you spending time on your logo and right now are two different things? But branding, what you're doing is you're setting up your branding. I mean, this is your Nike. I call it a check mark. All right. This is Adidas 3.1. Yeah.
Rob knows the word.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and this.
What is it called?
Swoosh. Yeah.
The Nike swoosh.
Yeah. So your branding is important. All right, because people are going to recognize you for that.
Yeah.
And so it's something you do have to get right.
So yeah, the color is like a new thing we just added, and we've been working on this thing for like a month or so, and I've been kind of off and on. And so what I do is I ask people about it, like, what do you think? What do you think? And I'm getting pretty consistent comments about this. My wife likes this one more than this one because it's angled up. And I've also heard the comment about length a couple times. And then another organizer who's new, Sherry, she pointed out, she's like, well, this one would be good for like Facebook or something because they always want square. And then this is good for other like sets because it's longer. So I think this is.
We spoke about the bird. We spoke about the splat of the spark, and we spoke about sparks flow, but we didn't speak about the bird. I agree. Whoever made the comment that the one above is coming down, all right, is in a.
It looks like it's arcing downward. Yeah.
Yeah. This one looks like the lower one. You know, this is a swoop of the wings the bird takes when it's coming into land.
Yeah.
All right. So
or going up.
This is like Adam's descending on you, and we're going to be doing some stuff. So I think the bottom one. The bottom one is much better.
It's more active. Okay, I like that. Yeah, I definitely want. When I was talking about this one, I was definitely at least tip it up, at least something. But yeah, that's interesting. That's good stuff. All right, so I could go on forever talking about logos, but and I appreciate your feedback. So you got in the middle of, huh?
I'm having the same issue on the book. My book cover. I've got a dozen book covers from the publisher, and I cannot accept any of them really because they're just not making me feel like good when I look at them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's really hard.
So Rob, on this, from this logo to the other one, Is there any like kind of where it's at? Does it have some of the stuff that you liked about this one?
The new one.
Yeah, where it's at now.
I mean, yeah. I mean well, you still have the sparks, I guess, if you choose to continue to use those little sparks, as you mentioned. You like pop them out behind the what is now the splat.
The bang thing. The splat. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, this can sort of keeps it condensed. I know this version is still kind of long, but by having the words underneath the tail as opposed to kind of like hanging out the side like that other one.
Yeah,
that
it keeps it in.
Yeah, and I honestly I think the more consistent you can keep the logo. I know, like somebody, like you said, had talked about. There's a Facebook version. There's like the blah 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 version.
Yeah,
man, just if you can, if that Facebook version can just keep consistent through being all the other versions, then you're probably on point there.
Yeah, and that's like this was a placeholder, this guy, and then because I was like, I generally want this thing going on, but at a certain point, fussing with this, like, okay, that's good enough. All right, on to actually doing business. So
with this one, Alan, you know, these are sparks. I can see where these are sparks that are coming out.
Yeah.
And you know, your logo is sparks flow, and so that's what you've got. You got the streak and the spark at the end of it.
Yeah.
So it's flowed. But bird-wise, I think this is that old one's the same as this top one, but flying in the opposite direction. I think this one down the bottom you've got is just more action orientated.
Yeah, I like it. That's good feedback. So with your book, Mr. Phil, the thing is here. I'm getting to it here. Yeah, I'm gonna go to Rob first because Rob put his on first. So we're gonna come back to your book here in a bit here, Phil. But I'm gonna shift to Rob, who's not looking at a new logo yet.
Probably never will be, at least with this company.
There you go.
It's not my company.
So you're not hip about their logo?
Well, no, it's not my company to be able to change.
Oh yeah, so you're not going to be changing up their logo.
Right.
It's funny because this logo is actually a lot like Sherry's, the lady I mentioned. Oh, look at that! There's a box one. I haven't seen that one before.
I think that's an old
in the background.
That's like an AOL logo on the box.
That's funny. I didn't even notice that's what it was. That might be a little old then. Yeah. But here's Robert. So Rob, I'm gonna switch back to the other thing just to kind of remind. Oh, actually, I don't have to switch here. I'm gonna. Alt tab. Come on here. All right. So your name.
My one main complaint.
How your business works.
Yeah.
And your question. Or question. Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, you already know my name. Well, I was just gonna say the only thing I don't like about my website is how long it takes to load.
To load. Yeah, it takes a bit of time.
How my business works, essentially from start to finish, you know, you get pre-qualified with me and I do a lot of the front end work. My official title is loan originator. And so I originate the loan, and you know, that's when you're going to buy a house or refinance, obviously. And then halfway through the process, we're ordering verifications and appraisals and things, and about a couple days or a week before closing, we're wrapping up all your closing documents. That's how it works in a nutshell.
There you go.
That's the process.
It bubbled out at the end there. You said something at the very end. What's the very end of your process?
Oh, as far as like a week or so before closing is when we are wrapping up your closing documents and everything.
Lost you again right then.
Is it my internet?
I think it's something to do with your audio.
Oh, geez.
Like when you moved your hand in front of you, right? A week from the end, that's when.
A week from the end of closing is when we are wrapping up your closing documents.
Okay, there, that was clear.
Yeah.
So what? You're not? Are you a broker, or you say a mortgage originator? I've not heard that expression before. So you're the middleman between the bank for example, and the client?
So it kind of goes both ways. I guess the layman's terms is loan officer, because that was an older term. I'm sure you might have heard that. But that's just, so Van Dyke Mortgage, in and of ourselves, we are a mortgage banker, as in we do finance our own loans, and we go directly to the federal.
Oh, you bubbled out again.
I'll just keep my hands down, because I think the
It's
video of it trying to process that data is making it slow. Anyway, so yeah, we do have brokers, in the sense that like some of the products, like if you were self-employed and you needed a bank statement loan, where we just use your bank statements for income qualification as opposed to tax returns, then that would be a broker program where I would be the middleman in that sense, as you mentioned. But yeah, no, we do kind of finance our own loans and sometimes, so that also makes us a banker or direct.
So do you sell? So when you've got a mortgage, do you keep that? So the mortgage client is paying you, or do you sell that mortgage to a bank or something?
A lot of, especially pre-pandemic, it was about 1/4 of our business was going to us doing the servicing, where you would make your payments to Van Dyke. But during the pandemic, a lot of those investors on the secondary mortgage market who would buy a loan like that, they stopped buying loans for any particular risk reasons. So thankfully, we had the capacity to be able to make those types of loans, to where we are being the one that you are going to make the payment to. So a good majority, if not 100% of our loans at that time, and I think now, I'd say about 75% of our loans, you're going to make your payments to Van Dyke Mortgage.
How big is the company, Van Dyke?
So we're a national company, just because we have people licensed in 30, 40 states. Definitely not international, not quite that crazy. I don't know if any mortgage company is, as far as like in the US. But I mean, obviously, so Tom Van Dyke is the president of the company. So it was like very much a family type of business as it grew over the years. And I think we're 30 years strong, 35 years been in business. So yeah, it's local in the sense that like we have our local branch. Obviously everyone that I work with, we're all local, but it's national in the sense that if you wanted to still get pre-qualified with Van Dyke Mortgage, I could probably find a loan officer who is licensed in your state.
Okay. I was going to say, yeah, the name must have originated from somebody that derived from the Netherlands, or that kind of part of Europe.
Yeah.
Netherlander. So you notice Chelsea has a bow tie on Facebook. Bow tie.
You just got the same audio as what Rob had just now.
Oh, did it bubble out?
Yeah. A little bit. Yeah.
You're back again now.
Oh, okay. So he's known on Facebook as the bow tie mortgage guy.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah. It's sort of a branding thing that I started within the first year that I was doing this.
Yeah, that's pretty good stuff. It's good.
It's funny, when I was in corporate, especially when I came over to the US from Europe, I became famous for my ties, because you actually have better ties in Europe than you do in the US. Trust me.
Oh, okay.
They have better design ties, and so I always had these really cool ties, and I'll make sure I wore a tie every day to work except Friday, and I always made sure that I outdone anybody else that even tried to compete with me. So. Because I could always get these ties that nobody else could. If I had a process guy, it doesn't matter what that is, in my company, and he decided to compete with me on ties, but he could only buy in the US, and so when I was over I had European ties anyway because I moved over here. But if I felt I didn't have anything, then I would go back over to Europe and get a really good tie and then come back and say,
just for
gotcha.
a tie. That's funny.
I was known for ties.
That's cool.
I actually started.
In fact, I've still got most of them, but I haven't worn them for years now.
Especially because you're in New Mexico.
Yeah.
What was that, Rob?
I was going to say I started the bow tie thing because of the 12th Doctor from the Doctor Who series. That was.
See, another English.
Doesn't he have that look?
Another English institution, Doctor Who.
Right. Yeah.
Another English. English institution, just like the tie. So Rob, the one other thing then, so that's how it works. And then what's your quest, Shin, that you're doing with your business? What are you doing your business for? Yeah.
Right now, I mean, especially honestly, Adam, thanks a lot for helping me last year.
My privilege.
I still have those systems in place. So it's on me at this point to enact those systems. And I'm I'm doing those, I should say. So I'm moving on to trying to do like YouTube videos and things like that.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
If I can expand my marketing more, because a lot of the systems that were making sure to handle clients and make sure everyone gets the same sort of treatment, especially in 2020. I don't know if I was really prepared, honestly, of the craziness that the mortgage market brought to us.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who had maybe reached out and I was either too busy to help or something like that, and they sort of fell through the cracks. And enacting these systems really helped with keeping on top of everyone, even if they were like, oh, I don't need to be pre-qualified for another 3 months from now. It's helped me like not forget about them, essentially. So that's all good to go. Just need to ramp up the marketing efforts again.
Yeah. And so you're getting the question of like, what kind of thing you want to do next with your business or with your business right now.
Yeah.
Is ramping up the marketing. And I'm going to push a little further, because what I'm looking for with this quest thing is, why are you doing it? And then what are you hoping to get out of? Like, what are you hoping to learn from doing it?
I think my biggest why is I'd like to get back into doing the Kegs for Kids thing again. And obviously that was a lot of event planning and prepping and hosting these events and everything. And hopefully in getting my online, my online presence back up again can be a good catalyst to be able to get people to show up to a brewery and support a charity.
And why do you want to do the Kegs for Kids?
Why do I want to do the Kegs? Well, I liked it. I mean, after not being able to do it for the entire year last year, it's funny, in 2019, I felt like it was a lot of stress on me, and I was just like, is this really even worth the effort to do?
Yeah.
But then after not doing it, I kind of missed it. So, I like helping the community. I really like helping kids in general, just because I feel like that's, our future, helping kids, education, all that fun stuff. But it's just, that was my biggest why, I guess. And then a secondary why is that it helps my name and face and bow tie get out there.
And bow tie.
For people to know who I am and what I do, And if they're buy a house and it's good timing, then great,
And why do you want people to know what you do?
Because if they don't, then my family goes hungry.
Why did you choose mortgaging for it?
I saw it as a foot in the door for real estate investing.
Yeah.
After I got out of the military, and
why real estate investing?
Yeah, it's that sort of my vision for path to financial freedom.
Cool. So is there anything in particular, I'm just curious, is there anything in particular in the real estate stuff or that you particularly like, other than it might be a financial, easy to financially leverage?
I mean, I like and the reason why I became a mortgage person as opposed to a realtor actually is because I like crunching the numbers, and I feel like I'm a numbers guy. I'm not super good at math, but
yeah.
but I do quite well. You know, we were in the process of buying an investment property, and my realtor, I showed her like, hey, this is how I figure out if the numbers work out for me. And she's like, holy crap. Like, and I, in my mind, expect that if you are an investor, this is what you do.
Yeah.
That is like the expectation, but
yeah,
maybe she hasn't come across a lot of investors or something, but but yeah, she was surprised. So that made me feel good about myself.
That's cool. Yeah. That's neat. So that's I'm looking for the question there of like, you know, what you're going for. And there, I think all of your answers were great. It's just I'm also trying to figure out for myself what am I wanting out of this question thing. And so it's kind of fun to, you know, push back and like ask questions that get to know a little more about you and what's really driving what you're doing and enjoying it. Because we all do want to make money and make a living and everything, right? Those are the survival stuff. But then the way we're doing it is like, what are we actually looking for in that thing we're doing? And how's it feeding us in other ways? It's kind of the quest thing.
Well, something I didn't touch on is just family. You know, spending time with family is obviously important. And in doing this, as opposed to being a realtor, you know, I just had this conversation with one of my realtor friends. He's like, you should totally partner with me. We could do this and stuff, and you can make a lot more money because they make like 3 times more on a transaction than I do. And I was like, yeah, but then I have to work weekends, and you know, I mean, it's not like I don't work weekends, because there are times where I do, but I'm not as obligated as they are, you know, doing open houses and things like that. So so spending time with family, this will be a means to an end for that as well. That's sort of my quest, is being able to do all the things with the kids and not have to work eventually, you know.
It goes along with your momentum thing. Momentum in everything. And it lets you do that. That's great. So Phil, you're talking about the cover of your book, and they've sent you some stuff. Did you want to share any of those images and like
I don't know if
anything, or what'd you learn from them?
I don't know if I can. Let me have a look. Well, I think that's it. While I'm looking these up, what I will say is that I asked them to scrap all the ideas they were thinking about before and do something different. So yeah, I've got these. I don't know how I can show you them.
I think I'll double check if I've given you choose background video series. I'm gonna stop my share.
I'm glad you're sharing his website, because that saves me the trouble of clicking on it away from our presentation.
Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna go back to it in a moment. And I'm just gonna do this share screen. Okay, now you can share your screen if you want to. If you want to.
So can you see? Okay. So can you see these?
I might have just opened my share screen at the wrong time. Try it again. Did you click on share screen?
Hang on a sec.
In share Zoom.
There we go. Screen. Okay.
Pick it.
Everything on the screen, including everything is recorded. Okay. So can you see those?
Nothing's showing up yet. I just see your face just as
I'm on my iPad today, so maybe a little. Hang on a sec. Share content. Share. It's giving me a whole list of shares. Screen, photos. So I want screen.
It doesn't like that one.
Start. Last 2, 1. Bang. Oh, there we go.
There we are. Yeah.
Think.
Screen broadcast. Yeah.
Right.
Now
we can need to go here. Can you see that?
Yeah. Lots of.
So this is one they sent through.
And that's the cover?
Yeah. This is the second one. And that's the third one. Now, I do have actually
those are pretty playful.
Yeah. Let me see if I can give you. I've got one that I kind of do like. If I can find it. cover mock-ups. So you can see how many times I'm going through this with them.
Yeah, that's kind of how I when I'm working on my logo and other things, I kind of feel like, am I being too picky? And I'm like,
okay, what do you think of this one?
Oh, that's kind of cool looking. That's got more. It seems more inspirational, like looking into the stars to see what you're doing.
Mm.
So this, what was happening here was that their graphic design team really isn't a graphic design team.
Huh.
It's a bunch of people that actually pull stock photos, because you can see iStock photo on
I can totally see
from
that.
the internet, and they put your text on top of it.
Yeah.
So I was getting a little bit peed off with all the different ones that they were doing. So like those ones.
Yeah.
And I said, I can sit on Google with iStock photos and images and pull in loads of stuff, and that's not really graphic designing. So they said to me that they were going to try and get, I could actually use their illustrators. And I said, well, what's an illustrator? And they said, these are people that actually design a cover from scratch. And I said to them, well, I would have liked to have known that before I signed up with you, because I know what I'm expecting. But I haven't been happy with what they've been delivering me. And I understand the subject matter is difficult to visualize.
Right.
But I'm not really pleased with the covers they've been sending.
No.
And so I sat and explained to my publisher, my contact, that it's this is what the book's about. It's not about what you do, how you implement strategic planning. It's about how you gather the right data from the right places to be able to build a strategic plan. And I guess that is kind of difficult to try and put into an image.
Yeah.
So the first ones I showed you, they've just sent through. They were the ones that they come up with as an alternate to these later ones I've got.
Yeah.
I can't find where I had them.
So you're wanting something that somehow either looks boring enough that they're not going to think that it's
yeah,
that it's not too playful, and you want something that kind of gives them the idea that you're going to look into when you should plan about something.
Yeah, and it's kind of difficult. We've been working on this for months now, and I actually wanted to be published this month, and I can't.
Yeah,
because I don't have.
Did you share with them the graphs and stuff that we've done before?
Yeah, I sent them over I sent them over a slimmed down version of the PowerPoint presentation I did to the students at the University of New Mexico last month. So I took out all my notes and just put in the different matrices that we use. Because we use the 3 matrix, the SWOT matrix, the RBV matrix, and the 5 forces matrix.
Yeah.
And so it's really difficult.
So I don't know, maybe because you talk about that business swoop thing. Let me see if I can pull it up on here. Presenting.
Oh, when's the book coming out?
Well, it's going to be. It's actually going month to month now, so it's going to have to be April. Because I've got a couple of. I've just got a couple of small amendments to do, but I've got a third and final proofread to go through, and obviously we need to get the book title and the book cover sorted out. had an interesting comment from one of my friends in Europe, and they said, of all the pictures you sent through, it doesn't tell me it's a business book. And I thought, what tells you the difference between a business book and a not a business book?
Maybe money somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Money or something.
I think there's a certain like charts.
Well, yeah,
that's why I'm kind of leaning towards the chart thing.
This is like, these are 3 business books, okay?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. What was there? Oh, like there's the charty sort of thing going on in there.
So, you know, what makes a business book? I mean, I understand it's not a novel. Novels you can generally graph onto the front of the book a picture visualizing what the novel is about.
Yeah.
Well, so while you were kind of going through this, I was actually looking at, I typed in the title of your book on Google, and like one of the first things that pops up is like your next 5 moves, master the art of blah, blah, blah. And it looks like it's a chess book. So I think just to break from the mold, obviously yours doesn't, I didn't even think about chess until I Googled it, you know, and I was like, oh, well, the book's not out yet.
Yeah.
But that could be another element of confusion that I don't know if you've thought about yet.
Yeah, because at one point when we first started this, they actually did, they actually put a chessboard in there, okay, and then they did different things with chessboards, and it just seemed to me it was a book more about chess than it was about business.
Yeah.
So maybe you could put a chess piece on that business curve. So get the business curve and put a chess piece on it.
Like how you had the constellations kind of thing, and then make that into a chart. Is that what you're saying?
So there's a particular type of chart that he's shown us before, and I had it on my notes.
Well, the business S-curve.
The S-curve, yeah. And then right where this is going to happen, right? Because you said the S-curve comes in, and then there's this choice of it could keep going up, it could stay the same, or it could go away, right? You could have that S-curve come in and then put a chess piece kind of in that spot. So it's like the chess piece on a business graph. Anyway, it's an idea. I'm gonna move on here because our time is wrapping up. Yeah, thanks. So we kind of talked about momentum. We're all sort of working on getting momentum in the direction of our quests. And the question we're trying to figure out now. The reason that topic came up for me was because someone was asking me, you know, how I got stuff going with this Friday Flow thing. And I'm like, well, it's just about being consistent, you know, showing up and having kind of a process and that sort of thing. And that said, like, I don't think this is exactly taken off. There's a few times where it's like, oh, there's been a bunch of people there, and I don't even know if that's what I want. But I've kept on hearing that, like, if you're going to do something like this, you don't really get like an explosion or a growth until after you've been doing it for quite a long time, which it's been good for me because we have these kind of discussions that we're not usually able to get these days. And I think that's the reason I'm doing it, is that kind of stuff. So on that, I've been figuring out the type of oh, it's because I zoomed in. I go into presenting mode, F5. There we are. Look at that. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, so we did the discussion, attendee greeting. It's the time to ask stuff now. So what it is it's just a 10 seconds, something we could do. And I've gone through a couple things for like how to wrap this up. I did events at the start. Then I started doing like, then doing ask. And I called it action ask, but I don't know how much that worked out. And now I was like, well, actually, it would be really cool if something we could do is like, you ask us something we could do 10 seconds that will help you on your quest. So this is my question, because it only takes you 10 seconds to answer this, you know, and it helps me figure out like, because what I'm wanting to do is help people find their quest and get through it and make the sparks flow for the ideas they're trying to have. So what are your questions that you have to help you on your quest, or Action asks for us?
Is it like, what can you, Adam, do for me?
Yeah.
Is that what you're...
Or anyone else, but yeah.
I guess for me, it's I really want to focus on YouTube. I don't know why.
Yeah,
that's where I need to be. So just going and liking my YouTube channel page.
Yeah.
Subscribing or whatever. I have like
easy. Sounds good.
maybe
Phil?
one.
Well, what's that? Maybe what?
I think I have like 1 subscriber.
That's great. Yeah, I've got 3, I think. But it's funny because for me, YouTube's not like the big place I want to put focus quite yet. It's a tool that I have that things are actually being posted. It's keeping me real. And that's what all of this is. It's sort of like, all right, I'm really focusing. I'm creating buzz around something in my own head, whether or not anyone else cares. And then I'm going to see where it goes from there. But yeah, all right. So liking Rob's page, great, or YouTube. Phil?
I don't know, Adam. I mean, I'm just concentrating on trying to figure out how to get out of this ever decreasing circle.
Oh.
So, yeah, I'm sorry, I don't have anything for you this week.
Well, normally we could buy your book, right?
that would take only 10 seconds.
When I've got it out, that'll be an easy 10 seconds for you to go and do. Yeah.
Is there going to be an audio version?
Yeah, it's going to be both in Barnes & Noble, Nook, and Amazon. And what's Amazon's one?
Audible.
Oh, that's the Kindle. Yeah. Kindle. They purchased Kindle a while back.
Oh, okay. So not like an audio one I can listen to then?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're thinking ebook.
Yeah. Actually, I'm not sure. I'll have to check. I know I'm doing the ebooks and the hard copy. But Kindle, can't you play on Kindle? Or do you have to read Kindle?
Because I have Audible, which is Amazon's audio version of books. I've never used a Kindle, so I wouldn't know if you could like have it transcribe back to you or something, maybe.
So yeah. Kindle also used to have their own hardware, but right now they're just using it as a software thing. You can't. That's a good question, actually. I mean, I can have my computer read things, but it's not the same as an iPad.
But the problem with Audible for my book is you're not going to be able to see the matrices and the diagrams that are applicable to the text.
Right.
Yeah. A lot of times they'll have like a preface that says like, hey, go to this website. And then it just has like PDFs of the images that are necessary to see.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, things I've got to learn, Rob.
If you want to put
I'm big into audiobooks for sure.
Go time bien. That's cool. Yeah, so I'm gonna go post on his thing. I've given you some feedback about your book, so I feel like you got this idea. I'm curious if you're gonna send that to your publishers and say, hey, what about putting a chess piece on this graph? And then next week the topic is going to be this is all like I kind of slapped this in here. It's not even like formatted, but the title is the first question and the question is the second question. I think. I don't know what that's all about. Anyway, so there's the monkey mind, because I've talked about system 1 and system 2 sometimes, and so we're going to talk a little more about that, of like how often you run by just your routine processes, and how often do you actually step in to actually make change happen how you want it to go.
What are synonyms for monkey mind? How about Neanderthal?
That's another one.
Actually, Neanderthals were a very intelligent species. Actually,
they were. Anyway. Thank you guys, and keep the sparks flowing. This
Thanks,
is how
Adam.
I officially wrap it up. So like, okay, time is.
Nice to meet you, Rob.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Look forward to the book, Phil.
Thank you.
Great, great to see you both. Thanks for coming again, Rob. It was have fun with your kids.
Thanks, man. I'll get to my 10 a.m. meeting.
Now.
See you guys.